Hello and welcome back to another exciting Life in Review by your host, Brian Klein, on this wonderful Humanastory evening. Earlier on the 6th of February, we spoke with Miss Sasha Cullen about her Life in Review, and I must say it was amazing, and yes, a part of humanity's thought process from around the world. We stood in awe of how brilliant humanity is, and how people really do act. And while we are consistently bombarded by mass media and how awful the world can be, we at Humanastory seek out those who are willing to brave the craziness that we call life to share their story with us. You can check out her interview at humanastory.com. Today I will be joined by Christina Klein, the woman that makes my adventures come true, and by Mark Emke, whom over the years, like mold on a wall, grows on you with time. Today in our sights we have Charlie Brown, the man behind Madagazi Travels. Short of finding out what side of the bed he sleeps on and what color his underwear is, we will find out what it takes to make him tick. We will find out if he's real or faking it, and we will find out if he really is the amazing Mr. Brown, Emperor of the United States, that he claims to be. You can log in now at our website at humanastory.com. You can find the live thread at our community under Humanastory Live Presents Charlie Brown for your questions to be answered.
Browns are a typical family that worked hard, but they had very little time to enjoy it. They wanted more quality time spent together as a family. Searching for ways to make this change, they stumbled across something that would change their lives forever. It was time for them to make a decision. Which path did they take? Who is Charlie Brown?
All right, everybody, welcome to another Life in Review. We are talking with Charlie Brown. Yes, that's right, everybody, Charlie Brown. I don't know how I ran across it, but I do know that he does not have a yellow shirt with a black stripe, and we really, truly want to get him one of those. And how we're going to get it to him is going to be the challenge, because Charlie Brown has a family and a trailer. He gave up all his worldly possessions to take his life to freedom. All right, Charlie Brown, go ahead and say hello, my friend.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. All right, and tonight I'm actually joined with Christina, the woman that makes my every dream come true, and like I said earlier, Mark Emke, mold on a wall. That's what he is. He's just a big pain in my ass.
I'm just a piece of mold on the wall that just came about.
All right, so today is February 20th. It is 8 p.m. And again, guys, you're listening to Humanastory Live, a guest speaker interview, a life in review, and his name is Charlie Brown. Now, the interesting thing about this whole arrangement is he has made a conscious choice to live the way he does. And I guess without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right on in it. Normally, I don't break format, but today it's going to be a little bit different because there's a lot of questions. All right, so, hey, Charlie.
I want to know everything.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. How did this start?
Well, it's myself, my wife Raquel, our daughter Colleen. She's 8 now. She actually turned 8 while we were traveling. My son Walden, he turned 3 while we were traveling. And we own a house in Cincinnati, Ohio, and lived a pretty normal life. My wife worked at the hospital, and I was actually I was working as a mailman there, and it was just so much work and so little time with the family that we always kind of yearned for something different. We wanted a different type of life where we could actually spend, like everybody does, like everybody kind of yearns for that type of life where we can spend more time with our family. And we had looked into different types of ways to downscale to kind of simplify our lives, to be able to maximize our time with our family. And what we wound up finding was these full-time RVers. And so, it kind of spiraled from there. It kind of snowballed, and we wound up with our RV, and now we're on the road.
Just tell us a little bit more about you. I mean, okay, so you had a house in Cincinnati. Is that right? Were you making mortgage payments and all that? I mean, you were doing the whole 9 to 5, I'm a working man sort of thing, and it just You felt kind of empty or what? I mean, I'm just trying to get a feel for.
We're actually still making the mortgage payments right now, but we have leased the house. And so that house is being paid for by the people that are leasing our house. And so we still have stick and bricks house, and we still, own our property. But it's kind of like in the, that, suburban neighborhood where, you look out your front door and you see your neighbor. We look at our front door in doing what we do now, and we see $1 million views. We see views of lakes and, mountains, and, that we still have the comfort of home, but our view changes. Every time we move the RV, our view changes. And it's kind of nice to be able to change not only your view, but your point of view, every time you go someplace new.
God, I have so many questions, and I want to jump into them, but these stupid segment rules are retarded. Okay, so all right, so how did you? I guess. Well, see, you guys are all going to talk about your past in the next segment. I guess just tell us a little bit about you and some of the things. Well, like what did you do today? Like, how is a daily activity? Do you go for job after job, or how do you sustain RV living?
What we have done recently is we were more motivated by the ability to have a place to work called work camp. So basically they pay for your site, and you give some of your hours to an RV park or something like that. You kind of work for them. Some places actually pay you too. But we were motivated in our place that we're at now, which is an awesome place, and it's near New Orleans. And we were really happy to come here because we could go to some Mardi Gras parades, and we're here through Mardi Gras. But yes, nice. daily, I have maybe 10 to 20 hours a week that I do things in the park. And, of course, we create video on it, and it shows that, like today I built some steps. I'm a fairly handy guy. I was a high school teacher before, and I did not a lot of manual labor, which I love. I love to do woodwork, and I love to do things like that. But today I went out in the park, I painted a little bit, I built some stairs out of wood, and it was just, it's amazing that I get up, I go over by our little lake here in the morning, have my coffee, and nobody's pressuring me to complete anything. Like as a postal worker, you are on a timetable that is severe, to say the least. And I have a lot of respect after being a postal worker. I have a lot of respect for postal workers because you spend 30 seconds on one porch and you're behind.
Okay, so you work to basically get free rent, which is not really that bad of a deal. I mean, it's trading off, but how do you make money to feed yourself and feed the kids? And
there's the rub. Usually throughout your year as a full-time RVer is there are these points when you make a lot of money in a short period of time. And I'm sure that this will come up in a further segment, like that I say, like how the segments
Oh yeah.
But making money on the road, like there are periods of your time, like Raquel and I together work camping for a short period of time can make enough because of our lessened expenses being on the road to be able to take a month off or take 2 months off and then just work camp, and all of our utilities and all of our rent and everything is paid. And so therefore we're living off that 1 month of work that we have done.
So you're in essence, you're only paying for basically gas and maintenance on the RV, right?
You still have a lot of expenses, insurance, and you have, car insurance, and you have, your food, and you have a lot of different expenses that you don't know about until you start this lifestyle. But in essence, we are kind of cutting out that 30%, 20 to 30% that the general population pay to be able to live under a roof. So we're cutting out that part of it.
So you've done the math too. Like you've thought this out, huh? Is that
Oh, yeah.
okay?
My wife's the math person, and she definitely, helps us budgeting and taking care of things. She's the one who, and she's here right now. Say hello, Raquel.
Hello.
How you doing, Raquel? Hey.
Hello, Raquel.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I hear little ones in the background too.
That's Walden. Say hello, Walden.
Hello.
I'm Walden.
Okay, so you actually make enough money. What you're saying is you have enough money to pay. Do you have to have insurance and all that? Yeah, you do, because you're traveling on the road.
Well, right now, like Charlie's working in the park, which is cover our rent in electric and Wi-Fi, and I am working outside. I home care outside, which is cover for the food and everything. So I work outside the park.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So I see what's going on. So you find little jobs that you can do that would be like working at 7-Eleven or something while he's working in the park. And then you guys...
It all depends. Sometimes we would share the responsibility.
Yeah.
Sometimes she'd be working inside the park. Like at the last place that we were at, we worked Amazon peak season, and I did the working outside the park, and she stayed in the park. Like we always have to make sure that somebody's here to attend to the homeschooling, and because my daughter's 8.
So basically, we're talking with Charlie. We're talking with Raquel. We've said hello to Walden, and Colleen, I'm imagining 8 years old, is sleeping.
No, she's here. She's here. She's up. She wants to listen.
God, they have like the best life ever inside park after park. Well, do you always just go to parks? How does this work out?
No, sometimes there's boondocking. Like boondocking is when you are kind of running things off grid. Like you may park on BLM land. It's called Bureau of Land Management. They let you just kind of pull your RV in. There's no amenities, so you have to go to do your to a dump station to be able to get rid of your gray water and your black water, and you run off a generator and kind of you can stay there just for free, and it's just kind of a fun side thing to do. But I don't know if Colleen would agree with you. She's on a fairly strict schedule, and her homeschooling. She's has to be pretty diligent in her studies.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, and
I'm sure that's a lot of extra work that goes into that too.
Well, I mean, it helps that she's in second grade. Like when she gets into advanced trigonometry or something, then we may be in trouble. We may have to send her to a regular school.
She's going to find a way to make the trailer bigger. That's what. She's going to get into engineering, and she's going to work it all out. So Charlie and Raquel have decided to live the RV lifestyle. Now, I've been told that the RV lifestyle is considered the relaxed vacationing lifestyle. No, but it's for recreational vehicle, right? Just to clarify it for some of you, the listeners that don't know what it is, and they've chosen to live the lifestyle that they live. Again, you guys sold your house. You guys just said enough to the wind. I mean, I can't get angry at that sort of thing, and I can't even begin to describe. That's got to be like an exhilarating feeling. I mean, there's got to be some nervousness behind it. Isn't there any?
Well, we never sold the house. We're leasing the house.
So you're leasing the house to someone else. So they're making the payments, basically.
Absolutely. And to get rid of, I don't know if you have ever done this in your life,
no.
But to actually, I mean, just to restart your life. It's basically a reboot.
You guys will be right back. Humanastory is the story of humanity, one person at a time. We believe each person has a story to tell, and each story shapes that person into who they are today. Collectively, and more importantly, each and every person's story shapes this little blue rock we call home. We are all together whether we like it or not. We also believe that your unique story might just help someone else traveling down your pathway in life. You might be their guide through this rough time. We are always looking for more exciting stories to share with the world. If you've got one, come share it with us today. All right, welcome back to guest speaker interview. This is a Life in Review at Humanastory, and we are talking to Charlie Brown. So, Charlie, buddy, pal.
Yes.
How did you and Raquel meet? You have an interesting story there, too, from what I see.
No, I ordered her online. No, I'm just joking.
I was going to say.
You almost had me, and oh my God.
Almost had me, too.
I got her in a really big package, and I just opened it up, and there she was.
That's how you ended up working for Amazon.
Wrapped in a bow.
But I was teaching in Los Angeles in a non-public school for emotionally disturbed, actually behavioral children with behavioral issues.
Behaviorally challenged children.
That's absolutely correct. And it was called the Linden Center School. I think it's still in operation. It was a small school. It's kind of an LAUSD runoff school. So, kids before they go to juvenile hall or they have other issues, they wind up going to the Linden Center School. And it's a kind of a least restrictive alternative school to be able to teach kids classified behaviorally. And I was invited to go to Asia because I wanted to teach. I was thinking about teaching EFL. They call it EFL in other countries, English as a foreign language. And so I wound up going to the Philippines and meeting Raquel, because they have a lot of Korean schools in the Philippines teaching Koreans that are on their breaks English, because Filipinos speak English. And in fact, when I started teaching grammar in the Philippines, I had to take lessons from some of the Filipino teachers to reteach me American grammar or English grammar because they're so good at it.
Oh, wow.
And so I got there, I met her, we got along really well. Her parents were awesome. And I started dating her, and her dad said that if I didn't treat her nice, he would kill me, basically. And so we wound up getting married, and we had our daughter.
Sounds like
Colleen.
every father.
Well, we wound up having our daughter Colleen actually in the Philippines.
But there's a difference. You see, in America, it's really just an idle threat followed by a joke. In the Philippines, they really do it.
Yeah, you don't know. It's the unknown, because friends of mine had told me, hey, they're going to kidnap you there, like all this stuff, because you hear all the horror stories about Southeast Asia and about third world countries, but actually when I was there, probably hands down the nicest people, quickest to smile, easiest to get along with people that I have ever met in my life. I never met anybody. Basically, their saying is, if I have rice, you have rice. So unlike us here, who's it's mine, theirs is like, hey, if I have it, you also have it. And so they're really easy people to get to know and get to, have fun with. And I've smiled and laughed and sang karaoke and, done so much with them that it's a wonderful place to be. And sometime in the future, we're definitely going to go back and visit next year, but sometime in the future, we may even retire there.
So you said Colleen was born there, right?
Yeah, she was born in 2007, and she was born in Benguet province of a place called La Trinidad near Baguio City. But she was born there, and I call her my $125 baby because it costs about 6,000 pesos in a really nice hospital to have her, including the hospital stay and the medicines and everything else. And Walden, on the other hand, was here, and I think he cost us about $15,000.
Let me guess, he was born here, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. He was born here near Cincinnati.
And both came out okay, huh? Obama, we need to talk to you about this plan of yours.
Right?
Yeah.
Go talk to Gloria Aurora. Gloria Aurora was the old president of the Philippines, and she seemed to do okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, were you born in America or outside of America? I know it's a completely random question, but...
I was born in America. I was born in Ohio, Southern Ohio.
And then you grew up and said, hey, I'm going to move to LA, teach some slow kids, and then bam. You're like, screw this, I'm going to go RVing.
There's a lot of craziness in between. I've always kind of been a wanderer. Like my friend and I out of college wound up on the classic Kerouacian road trip for about 7 months, 24 states, just driving and sleeping when we're tired and eating when we're hungry. We took our guitars with us, and kind of that thing that you go through post college. We went.
So you did do college too, huh? So you've done all of this stuff, and you still didn't find the career job is the one for you. Not that it's a way to live. I mean, but it's funny because society makes you think through indoctrination that you have to have a house, you got to get married, you got to have the kids, and you got to work that 9 to 5. But you found a way to break free, which is what I really found interesting about this whole thing. And your kids are going to grow up learning this.
Well, hopefully they take the best of all of those, not just, hey, we're living this free lifestyle. And a lot of people have the wrong impression. They think that we're, these hippie gypsies, like singing Kumbaya by the campfire, and, the kids are growing up wild and free. The way that I have met some families on the road, and one of them do a form of school where you just sort of let your kids learn, symbiotically, or by osmosis or something, where they just kind of, you don't have a formatted teaching system. And we do have a formatted teaching system because, kind of in my opinion, if we have a world where everybody fights with battle axes, I may not want my kids to fight in any form, but I'm going to make sure my kids can wield the battle axe with the best of them. So I may not agree with the teaching system that's in place, but since it's in place, I'm going to make sure that my kids have the tools necessary to be able to succeed in the system that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want them going out to the battlefield with bubbles.
Right. I want to make sure her axe is sharp and she knows how to wield it.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say to that. I mean, well, okay. So when your kids were born, now none of this was done during the RV years, right? I mean, did you do the RV years before actually having the kids, or was this something that happened after the kids?
No, we're fairly new to this lifestyle. I think, how long have we been doing this?
Probably 6 months.
Almost 7 months, I think. We've only been on the road about 7 months.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
7 months. And it's been a good 7 months. I mean, how were the first days like?
Well, the first days were sort of a hit and miss thing. We
were you nervous?
Traveled to. Well, we were, like, as far as
exciting.
Yeah, excited and nervous because pre-trip is when we got more nervous, I think, like being able to bring the right people in because our house is fairly new, to be able to lease our property to make sure it's not going to be damaged. And like there was a lot of points of hesitation throughout the whole thing. But once we left, it wasn't, so much nervous as we just wanted to find the appropriate places. Since we're young and we don't have the retirement income like a lot of full-time RVers do, it was sort of, we're scared, like, are we going to find some place that we're going to be able to make the money necessary to be able to continue the lifestyle? And so in the beginning, we made a couple choices that didn't pan out. And then, after that, it's gone fairly well.
And now you've kind of got a groove for it. You kind of already know what you're doing, huh?
Right. So, yeah, and I mean, I know that in your segment that you want to talk about, like finances and things like that, there's a lot of opportunities that we have found since we've been on the road that I'll talk about then. And have you learned anything new by doing this? Yeah, I've learned that like the
He's
thing
like,
they say,
no, I haven't. No.
absolutely not. In fact, I think that I've lost some of the things that I've learned before. No, in reality, I have. I mean, of course, our whole lives are learning processes, and we should try to learn from everything. And I mean, of course, we all do. And in fact, Humanastory is kind of all about that. You are taking in these stories that other people are putting out, and it changes you in essence just from hearing it and from being able to experience it from somebody else's point of view.
We live our lives through your eyes.
Hey, that's okay. That's perfect. I know I'm an avid reader and always have been, and I think that some of my best friends growing up were the books.
Okay, not to cut you off. We're getting ready to go on a break, guys. We'll be back after this, and he's going to continue that phrase and just. Humanastory is the story of humanity, one person at a time. We believe each person has a story to tell, and each story shapes that person into who they are today. Collectively, and more importantly, each and every person's story shapes this little blue rock we call home. We are all together whether we like it or not. We also believe that your unique story might just help someone else traveling down your pathway in life. You might be their guide through this rough time. We are always looking for more exciting stories to share with the world. If you've got one, come share it with us today. And welcome back to Guest Speaker Interview, Life in Review. We're reviewing Charlie Brown. And we do a segment also. It's called Fantastic Friday. If you thumbs up, subscribe, and like this video when it gets put up on, I'm sure it's going on Charlie Brown's page. Oh, yeah, and you can win $50. It's as simple as that, because Humanastory is that awesome. Give us your best feedback, your best comments. Tell us all about it. And we are heading into segment number, I believe, 3. Mark, you had some questions.
Yes, I do. Now, how do your kids like, being on the road?
Could I have Colleen answer that?
Sure.
Yeah, she can answer.
All right, but before we go any further, Colleen, I know you're young, so this is Brian with Humanastory, and let me go ahead and introduce you. So, everyone, we have a young lady of 8 years old, and she's living a lifestyle that most people will never get to do in their entire lives. So, Colleen, tell us about your life.
I like RVing. It's fun because when you're living in a house, like you don't go anywhere, only in a car, but you have a job and you don't really get to go anywhere. But when you're RVing, you're always like moving and you get to see cool places.
Do you get to play with your friends?
I think that.
Yeah.
We have some friends that have continued from park to park. Sometimes you'll be RVing with the same people, and so she has maintained a friendship with one family's children. Actually, both of our kids have. They have similar age children to us that we have, and they have maintained a relationship with them. But I mean, in essence, I think it kind of helps them socially, because I had always feared homeschooling because of that big bad word socialization. But actually, homeschooling and full-time RVing done in conjunction has kind of helped the kids, because they are almost constantly meeting new people and having to introduce themselves and having to form relationships quickly. And then sometimes, like, we email a girl that we met 7 months ago, we had emailed her. She's from Texas that Colleen met. And so it's kind of a maintain relationships all over the United States while RVing at the same time. So I think it's kind of good for the kids.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You know, I always thought about doing that myself. You know, when I retired, was just traveling around in a motorhome and, you know, going to different campsites and seeing the country, the United States.
You know, she's lucky in a way. She gets to push it through. Now, what about schooling and all that? How does this work out for you guys?
Well, Colleen is on a little bit more of a strict schedule than a lot of, well, like we've met quite a few homeschooled children, and I think Colleen's curriculum is a little bit more stringent than most of the homeschoolers because she has to pay for her own Ivy League ride if she's going to Ivy League. So she's right now. She is supposed to be in second grade, and I tested her out at a fifth grade reading level. She actually just finished the fourth book. Is it the fourth book in the Harry Potter series or fifth?
It's the fourth.
The fourth.
And I'm on the fifth. I think so.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this little girl has beat me in the Harry Potter books?
Maybe. I could
38 years old, man. This ain't cool.
That'll make you feel good.
So we got a little smart aleck, do we? That was
she
going
also
on.
reads a lot of classics too. You know, but you know, we love for the. Yeah, she's a pretty bright girl, and her mom, as you can tell, she's a talkative one amongst us right now. But she does a lot of the math, like she teaches a lot of the maths, and so she's pretty strict. You know, like as far as her, like Colleen's doing long division. She's doing all she knows are multiplication tables, which is something I didn't know when I was her age. She is, you know, covering a lot of things in science and history and geography and things like that. So it's working out really well for her as long as we don't get into the really complex stuff. And then we're going to have help to do that. And there's resources like in Ohio, we have the K through 12 program, which is an online homeschooling or schooling resource. It's actually an online schooling resource that we can use for free. But, you know, like I would prefer just being able to teach to curriculum. And I don't know about, I'm lucky that I have such an apt student, you know, with Colleen, I think. But yeah, we love teaching her, and it's awesome to see her learning and wanting to learn. But, you know, I'm not a big proponent of the core curriculum. You know, I think it's a way to hold back some students and push other students further than their capacity.
Yeah,
well, you know, I was gonna tell you, you know, what this year or last year they took down the Confederate flag, and then the very next day they took the Civil War out of the history books. So the core curriculum isn't necessarily always the best, and it's kind of interesting that your family's lucky that they've got you as a teacher, right? You have a teaching background, so
yeah, that makes it a lot better.
But I mean, it no matter what kind of background you have, I think that it's possible to teach your children using the materials that are out there without spending a fortune. Not to quote a movie, but like in Good Will Hunting, you know, he says, you know, you can get your education for, you know, $1 in late fees for the public library. And that's pretty much true. And with the online resources we have now, I think that there's no reason, even if you're not homeschooling, to take part in your children's education in some way.
So how is Walden handling it all?
Walden is amazing. He is a quote unquote boy, and he is a hardhead, and he runs headfirst into any situation. He's never met a stranger.
I can't imagine there's much room to run around headfirst into things. He'd knock a lot of stuff over in there.
Well, when you step out our front door, you've got thousands and thousands of miles to run. So he's got a lot of room.
Yeah, rub it in.
Yeah, like a lot of people, they have their front yard. We have everybody's front yard. You know,
that must be a great feeling. You know.
So okay, I mean, how is he handling it now? He's the oldest of the two, right?
No.
No, he's the youngest. Okay, I got them all up mixed up.
No,
Okay.
Walden is 3 years old.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time. Whatever. Oh yeah, you say it like you knew it. You're hardly paying attention there, son.
Yeah, I knew he was 3 years old.
Don't give me that crap. He just tries to find any way he possibly can to.
I knew that he was 3 years old.
We've already got him working on, like, he can write his name, and he knows his alphabet, and he can, count to, I don't know, bazillion. I'm not sure how far he can count. But we work with him as well, and I think a good experience for Colleen is we learn more when we're teaching. So sometimes we try to have her work with him, with his colors and shapes and numbers and things like that.
Yeah, next segment's coming up, guys. Humanastory is the story of humanity, one person at a time. We believe each person has a story to tell, and each story shapes that person into who they are today. Collectively, and more importantly, each and every person's story shapes this little blue rock we call home. We are all together whether we like it or not. We also believe that your unique story might just help someone else traveling down your pathway in life. You might be their guide through this rough time. We are always looking for more exciting stories to share with the world. If you've got one, come share it with us today. And welcome back. Humanastory Live, guest speaker interview, life in review. We're speaking with Charlie Brown and Raquel Brown. And this next little tidbit of information is going to be the most vital information you could possibly ever imagine. And it starts with saying, Christina, it's all you.
All right. So, what is the difference between living...
Does anyone else notice that she talks like a big California girl? She's like, oh my God. When she asks a question, it comes out, do you know what I mean?
Hey, I was born and raised here. What do you want from me? So how is the RV life versus living in a house?
Well, funny you guys should ask that question. You guys know, you discovered us through our YouTube channel. One of our upcoming videos is actually covering the drawbacks of this kind of lifestyle. And one of them is the big difference between the stick and bricks and the RV lifestyle is your support system. There's no support system in place. Example, in our house, we know that Dr. Long is the kid's pediatrician. We know where to go, if the kids get sick. We know where to go for the best deals on groceries or on, everything that is necessary in our lives. We already have that support system in place, the kids' daycare, things like that. And it's all there. And one of the things that you do not have is that network of support system. You are your own support system. If something happens, we have to research when we come here. Where do we take the kids if someone's sick? Like, where do we, go find? I mean, it's something as simple as groceries. Like if you're in an RV park, you may have an IGA down the street, and then you go there and it's really expensive, but you don't know 3 miles away there's a super Walmart or whatever, and you can go there and get things for a drastically lower price.
One of the big drawbacks is having crappy internet connections, because you never know where you're going to be. Yeah. So just so everybody understands, we have Charlie Brown on with us. He's talking to us about living in an RV versus living in a house. And we do have Skype. We're connected through Skype. And Skype, if you ever get wind of this video, please, God, please make it doable through crappy internet connections. Give him room.
Oh, we'll give him some room.
I got your back, Brown.
Yeah, we got your back.
I'm probably only hearing every other word you guys say. It's yeah.
So if we say one word, and then we pause for a second, and then say the second word, You should be able to get the whole thing in, right? No,
I hope so. Just pause at the right time.
All right, so go ahead and ask. We're talking about you living in a house versus a trailer, and one of the big. I say trailer, but I mean RV. And
Yes, and sometimes an RV could be the trailer, but ours is actually what's called a Class C. So
yeah,
yes, it's a motor
we'll
home.
get there. We'll get there. Don't worry, we got questions.
So what about your living quarters? Is it a lot smaller than you guys are used to? Did you guys have to kind of get used to living in like a tighter, closed amount of space?
Well, let's put it this way. We could put our entire living space in our bedroom of our stick and bricks, in just our master bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so what we're living in right now, and we find out that we can be comfortable with. I'm kind of a hobbit at heart, like I like.
Okay, wait a second. Wait, a hobbit. How can you possibly be a hobbit at heart when they want solid? I've seen Lord of the Rings, yo. No, they like solitude. They like it quiet. You're doing everything that's opposite.
I think that you're absolutely wrong on that. I mean, they love parties. They love get-togethers with their friends. They love good food.
Second
I
breakfast.
got 2 words for you.
The only thing that they don't like that I like.
2 words for you.
Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah. but Bilbo, before he left the Shire, actually had parties and get-togethers and things like that. So, the only
oh my goodness.
thing he liked was the adventure, nasty things that make late for dinner.
So what else is different?
It is definitely a tighter fit, but one that either brings your family closer together or
you end up killing each other inside of the police end up coming out there and be on the news.
Right, but I mean, fortunately with our family, it's kind of brought us closer together. We know that if we can live together in this, we can live together anywhere.
You just want that tiny house.
What we really do want the tiny house. And in fact, we wanted that when we bought our property in Cincinnati, but they just wouldn't let us build the tiny house.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really stupid. So you have a van, like it's got a van front end on your motorhome?
That's absolutely correct. It does.
Okay, so that's specific to technical details, and that's not in our segment yet. Thank you very much. Hope you all read the technical details. Thank you. Thank you,
Brian.
I don't care.
You're
don't
telling me to talk, and then you turn around and you. Never mind.
I won.
So I have a question for you. So because it's tight quarters, and I'm assuming you have a smaller kitchen, do you actually cook a lot, or do you go out to eat a lot?
Oh, he eats 9-course meals. He cooks them all at home.
We do. Actually, we cook all the time. And I'm not trying to plug our channel, but if you check out our videos, we have a lot of cooking. We have a few cooking segments and some coming up. But yeah, we cook a lot at home. I don't think. Maybe we go out to eat. How often?
Twice a month.
Yeah, like twice a month. Maybe every week to twice a month we go out to eat. And usually we're looking for the least expensive buffets with good food that we can find. Because with the family, we're always looking to save a little money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you prefer this lifestyle versus living in a house? I mean, is this what you prefer, or did you do it? Well, I know we don't want to talk about finances and all yet, but.
Even when I'm working right now, I take my kids here to the park when I work. They just come over with me, and they're with me, and they're seeing me do things with my hands, and they're learning about things all the time. Every moment's a teachable moment. And so to me, it's not just the finances, but definitely finances come into it. But it's more about that quality time that we have with our families. Everybody who comes up with a memory about what was great about their childhood usually has nothing to do with stuff. It usually has to do with interactions with their family or with friends or something like that. And so we're trying to create something that gives the kids that as we're traveling.
What about the emergency vehicles, like emergency calls and stuff like that? I mean, it's obviously if you live in a house, the emergency vehicles, they know where to go. They show up right away. I mean, how does this work out for you? Have you had any emergencies or anything?
Fortunately, we have not had any emergencies since we've been traveling, but every park, every RV park has a physical address, and you staying in one of the spots at that RV park actually have a physical address there. And so I can pick up the phone, call 911, and give them my address just like anywhere else, and they'll be here, no problem. It'll be the same, no matter what. Yeah, the only difference would be is if we were boondocking. And I want to point out that boondock is actually a Filipino word meaning mountain. Yeah, it came to our language from the Philippines. I just got to give props to my wife, Filipina.
Really? Why don't you explain Boondock Saints then? That's an Irish movie.
Well, Boondock, I don't know. I don't know why they use Boondock. That's an awesome movie, though. It just makes me want to throw the toilet out of my house on somebody's head. But so
we'll be right back.
Welcome to Humanastory. Humanastory was built out of the need for human companionship, a togetherness that only comes from people helping others. We wanted to be able to tell our stories and share our expressions with everyone who needs them. By us telling our stories, we're able to share that moment that forever changed who we are. But the idea is not just to tell our story, but to share the journey and how we overcame that moment in our lives, allowing others to read and see the story and connect to the one sharing. Most people want to tell the horrid things, but fail to share the accomplishments. At Humanastory, we are not those people. We are strong, the winners. We are the achievers. We believe that sharing our experiences will help someone out there in the same situation and allow them to connect with others that have already conquered their struggle. We give the resource within our stories to help those who otherwise would fall. The help to stand up and face what is in front of them without fear or doubt. We believe everyone has the ability to succeed in life. If you are alive on this little rock hurtling through the endless void we call the universe, you are a Humanastory. How much of one is up to you.
And welcome back. You're listening to Humanastory Live, Life in Review with Charlie Brown. We were talking about the home living versus RV life, and he was telling me how he's on the run from the law, and he is trying desperately to go from park to park.
No,
so
Charlie,
hey, Charlie
Brown is really my name. It's
I'm kidding. I know.
Alias.
Before I talk about expenses, before we let Mark really wanted to ask you the questions about him. I've got to know how was life as a child with Charlie Brown as the name?
Well, my first
be honest with me. Don't you lie to me, son.
Well, my first name is Norman. My middle name is Charles.
That's even worse. What were your parents thinking?
Well, I don't think that it was a Charles Schultz thing. I had an Uncle Charles that died, I think, around the time that I was born. And that's my name. That's where I got it. And so, but when I was a kid, I kind of hated Charlie Brown. But after you grow up, the first time you have some kid that goes, hey, your name's Charlie Brown, huh? And they like it, and most people remember it. It just becomes you. And so, I like it now. It's fine. And like what my parents used to say when I complained about it, they said, wah, 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 wah.
So your parents teased you too. So they did it intentionally just to make you. Okay, well, so you've adapted, huh? You've gotten used to it. Okay. So anyway, we're talking about expenses.
Yeah, we're talking about expenses now. It's my turn.
Okay.
God, listen to that.
Now, what's your cost on your insurance, like on your motorhome and your car for the year? Now, you have to have full coverage on that motorhome?
We don't have to, but we do have full coverage. And to tell you the truth, the coverage on an RV is usually much less expensive because they're only expecting you. Like we bought this RV and it hadn't been used hardly at all, and it's a 1986. So they only use it for their vacations. And generally people get that 1 week of vacation a year. And so the insurance is based on
Did anyone else
use
notice?
Usually. And so you get a lot.
Hey, Charlie.
You get, yeah.
Charlie.
Yes.
Hey, did anyone else notice that he exaggerated that one vacation a year because he gets the vacation every day?
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. There goes my questions down the drain again.
I feel bad for these suckers, 42, 50, 51, right? Weeks of
hell and torture.
And then 1 week of vacation, that's really pays for everything, doesn't it? But the expenses on for the insurance is really nominal. I think that we pay how much a month?
$130.
We pay $130 for full coverage on our car and on the RV, and we don't mind.
Now, how much fuel does that thing use?
Well,
your RV.
Well, right now we're sitting still, so it gets great gas mileage. But
right.
Was that a smart ass comment?
When we're traveling, it'll definitely get over 5 miles a gallon when we're traveling. I'd say around under 10 miles a gallon.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Do you have the big motor in that, like the big V8?
Yeah. I think it's. I don't know the exact size of the engine, but yeah, it definitely uses a lot of gas, and gas is a major expense between RV parks. I think to get from Kentucky, we were out to Louisiana, it probably cost us at the prices the gas is right now, which is really good here, like $1.45 a gallon to $1.50 a gallon. It probably cost us about $100 to get here, $125 to get here.
Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, we're paying average about $2.27 a gallon for regular out here.
Oh.
Yeah, but you guys got the weather.
You guys have the weather.
Yeah, we got
Sorry,
I don't know.
Really.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this 100-degree weather in February. Yeah, it's something to celebrate.
So have you had any problems with your RV versus breaking down or having things go wrong with it?
We have, and that's one of the things that when you are taking your budgeting into consideration for this lifestyle, I mean, just like with a house, like sock a little away for the leaky roof and for the broken plumbing and things like that. It's the same thing with an RV, except you have all the mechanical parts too. So the first trip that we took in this RV, we went to Texas, and the brakes were getting really spongy, and brakes are pretty important. So I stopped and I changed the brake master cylinder myself, and it helps to be handy. I'm a fairly handy guy, so I changed the brake master.
I like to think of myself as a god when it comes to fixing cars.
Oh, jeez.
No, he's a computer man. He ain't no mechanic.
No, Mark's our mechanic on this end.
Yeah, I'm the mechanic on this end.
Okay, so I did have a question about what happens if it catches fire. I mean, you have insurance on all your stuff. Is that renter's insurance, or what is that?
See, we just started considering that. We actually do not have a renter's insurance, and we're not sure if in your car, I would think that the things in your car are covered by your policy, but that's something I actually have to talk to my insurance agent about if the things inside are covered.
When you go to talk to your insurance company, what you do is you say, hey, if my RV were to catch fire and explode with all of my stuff in it that's worth $50,000, I would get a check? Or would this be direct deposited?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll
Hey,
probably
we
just
got
cover the
$1,000
motorhome.
worth of
That's
stuff.
it.
Yeah, we got $50,000 worth of stuff in our $3,000 RV.
Yeah, right. Oh god. So yeah, it's expenses, huh? So listen, when we come back from our break, we're going to talk about. I would like to talk about. You were talking about. You wanted to be a carny, was it? And you were going to tell us about life as a carny. Okay, so
Yeah, bearded lady.
Okay, so we will be. Humanastory is the story of humanity, one person at a time. We believe each person has a story to tell, and each story shapes that person into who they are today. Collectively, and more importantly, each and every person's story shapes this little blue rock we call home. We are all together whether we like it or not. We also believe that your unique story might just help someone else traveling down your pathway in life. You might be their guide through this rough time. We are always looking for more exciting stories to share with the world. If you've got one, come share it with us today. And we are back. We are talking to the carny, Charlie Brown. He has a traveling circus and he enjoys what he does. He has an interesting life, and he was just telling us that he had $1 million. Whoever could find him, they would get it. Yeah, so Charlie, how you holding up there, bud?
Oh, fabulous.
Okay. Hey, on that and on the RV, now that's a smaller one, right? It doesn't have any pop outs or anything like that on the sides.
Right. There are no slides, no pop outs on this. It's a 25-foot Class
And
C,
so where's your-
1986. We bought it
Yeah,
with
that's an old
30,000
one.
miles on it.
Hey, Charlie, since we're talking RV talk, let's. What do you mean, Class C?
The classifications of RVs, like the huge ones that look like a bus generally, like they're a great big square job. That thing is a Class A. And then the ones that have the truck or van front end that looks like it's just carrying like a big turtle
That's a Class C.
shell on its back, that's a Class C. And then you have a travel trailer. Yeah, this is a Class C. And then you have a travel trailer, and then a fifth wheel is the one that kind of hooks up in the back of a truck, almost like an 18-wheeler would do. And so what we have right now is a Class C, but we would actually like to upgrade in the future to a fifth wheel.
Oh, fifth wheel?
Now, when you have a fifth wheel, do you
Yeah.
have to have a Class C?
But that's-
Is that how that works? I mean, you have to have a Class C license, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can generally just use a regular driver's license, but there are Class C RVs that have the 18-wheeler front end. It has a big diesel front end. They're huge Class Cs, and I think you do have to have a different driver's license for that.
And I think those, if they have air brakes, you have to have a different class, like a commercial license.
Yeah, I think you're right. We just have the regular hydraulic brakes on this. We don't have air brakes on this.
So, what is your trailer like? And what do you got there? Like, give us a layout. Visualize it for us. I'm a blind man walking through your house. What are you gonna?
Okay,
describe?
so if I think everybody has kind of seen an RV of this type. So in the front, it looks like a van. Over top of your head as you're driving is an area that changes into we have it as a twin size bed, but it would actually make a full size bed. It's called an overcab. And then as you come back on the left-hand side, we used to have 2 recliner chairs, but we've taken that out and we put 1 chair and an entertainment unit that holds our computer, TV, things like that. On the right-hand side is our dinette set, which also folds down into basically a full-size bed. You go towards the back. In the middle of the RV is the kitchen. So it has a fairly small refrigerator, microwave, 3 burner propane stove, a two bowl sink, a stainless steel sink, and a very small amount of countertop. And then some storage space for food and things like that. And then when you go all the way to the back of the RV, that's where the restroom, the bathroom, the shower, and on the other side is Raquel and I's bed, and it's basically a full-size bed too. So you have the ability to have 3 full-size beds in here, as well as the restroom and the kitchen.
Oh wow, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is small, but it holds everything you kind of need, but it is small.
Where's your door that you go out the side? Is that towards the front, or is it in the back?
It's midway. It's midway generally the entrance door is on the passenger side, so it's midway back on the passenger side. Oh,
okay. Yeah, I understand.
So if anyone's wanting to donate to Charlie Brown, make sure that you donate to him because he's looking for a good cocaine van.
What?
What? Oh, wait, wrong show.
Yes.
No, wrong show.
Wait, so is it basically like Breaking Bad? Mr. White and how Jesse and Mr. White have that RV? Is it like that one?
I have to ask Raquel. Raquel's the Breaking Bad fan.
That's why she was laughing. Okay.
No, this is the Class C.
Yeah, she said no, it is not like that one. Theirs is not a Class C. Theirs is an older Winnebago Class A.
She knows what they are. Like, is that you guys look for movies with RVs in them or what?
Yeah, you know what's funny is we just yesterday or day before yesterday watched RV with Robin Williams simply because it was a movie about an RV.
Oh yeah, that's a really funny movie.
Funny. Yeah, and we know those people, like the people that are traveling, that are playing the guitar outside with their kids and homeschooling. It's kind of funny because you actually meet people like that, and you underestimate them like they did. They underestimate these people like they're these dumb hicks or whatever, and you find out he went to Cambridge or something. And, their kids are geniuses.
What kind of power output does your RV give you?
So there's 2 different classifications for the power hookup for an RV. Like you have a 30 amp and a 50 amp. This is an older RV, and we have a 30 amp hookup. And basically, it will run anything that we want. We've only had a few issues where it'll pop the breaker if we use too much. Like maybe we try to use a microwave and the computer system and a fan and a heater or something at the same time, then it will pop it off just like it would at your house. And also, it's supposed to have an onboard Onan generator, but we actually took that out for storage space, and we have a small portable generator for when we're boondocking, living out kind of in the wild or whatever that we can use. And so, we have power anytime through either the generator or hooking up to the electrical system at an RV park.
So I heard you mention something about gray water.
Yeah, we have.
You're talking to somebody who doesn't do any of this stuff. So you've got to explain it to me like I am a baby, probably no less than your kids.
Well, with this, of course, you are using the facilities most generally if you are off grid or not in an RV park, and sometimes even at an RV park, they won't have a place for you to dump water. I don't know how to put this politely, but your all of your fecal matter and your gray water from the sink and the shower. And so therefore you've got to take it and dump it. But we have 2 tanks, actually 3 tanks. We have a freshwater tank, which holds our potable water, the water that we can use to wash dishes and take showers and things like that. We have a tank for gray water coming from the sinks and the showers, and we have a tank for black water, which is coming just from the toilet. And those all have to be dumped, or if you're at a park that has the hookup, you can just kind of hook them up and let them go just like you would at your house. And so right now that's what we're doing, but at times we have to drive the RV to a station and hook up this huge 4-inch hose from the RV, and then if you've never dumped black water or gray water, it is really an ordeal
A little stinky.
sometimes because you got to know what you're doing. Yeah, you've got to know what you're doing because there's these two pulleys, and if you don't pull them at the right time, there's a little cap at the end. You may leave one open a little bit, and then when you open the cap, you've got a blackwater surprise, you know?
Oh, yeah, it shoots out of there pretty quick.
Yeah. I used to have one, so I know about that gray water and
do that.
Black water.
Ever.
Yeah, it's a mess. You find out to wear rubber gloves after you do it a couple times. You're like, wear the rubber gloves and the face mask.
Oh, that's what I used to do.
And the face mask. What?
Yeah, the face mask. And the thing is,
just joking.
If you don't clean it out and you drive around with it, all of a sudden you're going to smell this big old stink. And I don't care how much of that stuff you use to kill the smell, it doesn't.
Yeah, kind of like a Mark fart. I get it.
Yeah, it sloshes back and forth, and all of a sudden you smell the You're going, oh.
Do you guys really have to describe this? I mean, seriously.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
It could definitely be like driving a porta potty if you're not careful. You got to know what you're doing before you travel. Dump. You know, you dump before you.
Exactly. You got to dump it first.
So I have a question going back to the layout of it. So with your bathroom, do you have like the toilet and the shower and all of that separate? Or do you have any kind of a bathtub in there, or is it all just a stand-up shower?
There is a tiny bathtub that only my 3-year-old would be comfortable in.
You got 10 seconds.
And but yeah,
actually, no, just hold that thought. I'm just teasing you. So listen, we're gonna run to the end of the segment. I'll let you finish answering this. So hold your thought real quick and.
Welcome to Humanastory. Humanastory was built out of the need for human companionship, a togetherness that only comes from people helping others. We wanted to be able to tell our stories and share our expressions with everyone who needs them. By us telling our stories, we're able to share that moment that forever changed who we are. But the idea is not just to tell our story, but to share the journey in how we overcame that moment in our lives, allowing others to read and see the story and connect to the one sharing. Most people want to tell the horrid things, but fail to share the accomplishments. At Humanastory, we are not those people. We are strong, the winners. We are the achievers. We believe that sharing our experiences will help someone out there in the same situation and allow them to connect with others that have already conquered their struggle. We give the resource within our stories to help those who otherwise would fall. The help to stand up and face what is in front of them without fear or doubt. We believe everyone has the ability to succeed in life. If you are alive on this little rock hurtling through the endless void we call the universe, you are a Humanastory. How much of one is up to you?
Welcome back to Humanastory's Fiesta Hour. No, I'm just kidding. We're listening to A Life in Review, Humanastory Live, guest speaker. His name is Snoopy. And, no, it's Charlie Brown. No, really, it is Charlie Brown. It really is Charlie Brown. I'm just saying. I don't know how else to describe this to everybody, but, listen, if you guys have any comments, the best comments, like, share, subscribe. You guys can enter our Fantasy Friday. Fantastic Friday. I don't know anymore. I think it's the Fantastic Friday. Fantastic Friday. And, yeah, just like, share, subscribe to the video when he puts it up and he's all excited about it. If you guys are hearing this, then you're probably hearing it on the radio station, which you guys are probably going, what YouTube? What are you talking about? Like, I don't understand. What's he saying? So yeah, you guys like, share, subscribe, leave your best comments as you guys do, and one person might actually win $50.
50 big ones.
50. Voila.
That fills up my heartbeat right now with gas. That's
All right.
awesome.
You like that? That's how that works out.
Sorry,
Okay,
Charlie. I was gonna let you answer that question about your bathroom. You're saying that the bathtub's only small.
Oh God, we're not through with this yet. I was hoping the commercial would have made everybody forget, but no. Let's talk about sloshing water.
Not
Come
that.
on, you're not done with the poop talk, Brian. Come on.
Come on, no one's done with
That's
poop talk.
motorhome talk, boy.
Get used to it, boy.
Yeah, it's a separate room, of course, but you just have the small RV toilet. You know, it's not your full size toilet; it's your RV toilet. And then you have a really small bathtub. And when I stand up in the bathtub, the shower head comes to about my neck, but it's one of the ones you can kind of take loose and use. So it's a pretty small bath and shower.
Oh, okay, I see. So, I have another question for you here. How often would you say that you guys move from place to place?
If you do a month in one place, it's quite a long time. So let's say you're working. We worked Amazon peak season, and it's called Camper Force, and they hire only full-time RVers to do this, and it's done during their peak holiday season.
Okay, wait. Not to cut everybody off. What do you mean Amazon? Are you referring to Amazon.com?
Yep, Amazon.com. They hire full-time RVers to work their peak season, and it's pretty awesome. Like, they give you the opportunity. They pay for your site, they pay for your electric, your water, your internet, and then they hire you at a fairly decent wage. I think we were making like around $11.60 an hour or something like that, and give you a bunch of overtime, and basically you stay and work for Amazon through their season. And that was a long work camping session. It lasts about anywhere from 2 to 3 months. And so to answer your question, how often we move, it kind of depends on your situation. Like, we're going to Adventureland in Altoona, Iowa to work camp there. And that is a very long season. We'll be there like 4 months. So it all depends on where you're going and what you're doing. You know, like, depends on where you want to work. Yeah.
How long do you guys plan on doing the RVing? Is this going to be a permanent thing, or are you planning on settling down somewhere after a while?
Well, we are looking into a tiny home. That's kind of what we want. That's the thing that we're going for. I don't know if it's going to be as particularly tiny as most people have, but we're looking for a homestead, someplace that we can live more sustainably, like produce a lot of our own needs, like electricity and water and things like that. The drawback for that, and that's what we'd like to do sometime in the next, it depends on how well, we are still enjoying, how much we're still enjoying this lifestyle, but maybe within the next 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, to find a small piece of property. And we're actually in the market right now, but it's hard to find the zoning appropriate for such a small house. Like, they want you to have a certain footprint. They don't want you to build anything small. Like, the government zoning and regulations is like reading legalese. It's terrible. Like, I read through it, and it takes me an hour to read one section of it saying that you can't have goats on your property, or you have to have a certain square footage, or you got to be a certain distance away from the road. And so we are hoping in the future to have a homestead. That's what we really want to do.
This would be a great way to save money now, wouldn't it?
I think for us, it would be a great way to save money. And I think you're absolutely correct. But for us, it's more about being able to get out of that government bureaucracy and being told what to do. And the property that we own now in Cincinnati, we got to be 50 foot back from a road. We got to be 50 foot back away from another property.
Oh, looks like we got some nasty feedback going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Skype connection is not all that it's cracked up to be, especially in an RV park.
Which is one of the drawbacks of it. So, maybe we won't edit this out. Maybe we'll just let it roll, roll.
Give them a good example on what's going on.
Yeah, so this is some of the stuff that you have to expect, right?
Oh yeah, and depending on your RV park, sometimes where your Wi-Fi signal is coming from. It'll be stronger. It will be less. And unfortunately, this is one of the spots where it's a little bit of a weak signal.
Yeah, see, he knew he was going to do this interview, so he parked as far away as he possibly could to cause the interruptions so he didn't have to answer the choking questions. Like, when are you going to be a carny? How long are you going to stay hidden from the law? These questions.
So when you get to see the bearded lady.
You're cutting out. I didn't hear any of those questions.
I know. I'm just playing.
What is the most interesting place that you've been to so far? Your favorite place?
We've been to. Oh my goodness, that's a good question. Probably went to the Gulf Coast We went to the Gulf Coast in Mississippi, which is really nice, and we also went to a place called Grand Isle, which is in southern Louisiana, and it's a peninsula that comes out south of New Orleans. Very, very beautiful, and the mosquitoes absolutely loved me. Yeah, every place has its own unique beauty. Like, we loved Texas. We went there and to a few places in East Texas. And then Kentucky is just absolutely just amazing place, like the mountains and things like that. So, and Maine, we went to a place called Acadia Island in Maine, which was awesome. And we took a duck tour in Boston, which was incredible. I got to drive the duck. I don't know if you guys know what a duck tour is.
No, not familiar.
No, what
with
is
that
a duck tour?
Yeah,
so
what is that?
A duck is an old World War II aquatic land vehicle. So it's
for a minute there, I thought you were going to say I ride a duck. No, really, a duck.
So if any of your viewers check this out, it's really fun. So in Boston, they have these things called.
Oh, hey, by the way, I just want to point out they're called listeners on a radio.
Oh, sorry, your listeners.
Why are you racist against listeners?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, that's right, you and your fancy YouTube channel.
Okay, you guys look at your radio while you're watching, while you're listening, and you guys can be viewers. Okay, so but it's awesome. You get to go out in Boston Harbor and ride around. And the guy that was driving the bus, he liked me because I'm loud and kind of obnoxious a little bit, and I kind of fit in, and so he let me drive the duck. It was awesome.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so listen, before you go any further, not to cut everybody off, our break is up. So you guys, all this duck riding championship stuff that he does when he's at a carnival, I don't know.
You got to spread the wings on it, huh?
Yeah, so listen, I'm going to cut to break here, and we will be back. Reading with Humanastory is the show where one of our hosts will read a book you can follow along with. So let us sit back, open up one of those dusted, waterlogged pages from that old book you once said you wanted to read, from having sat in the basement of your house all of these years. Let us take that journey together. We will also be hosting a show on Monday morning at 7:30 called Coffee with Humanastory. The subject of that show will be the specific story you're hearing now. Go to humanastory.com and check our schedule for the details. And welcome back, guys. We are listening to Humanastory Live, guest speaker interview, life in review. We're talking to Charlie Brown. Now, it is an interesting story. They're full-time RVers. No, they are not homeless. That's the interesting thing. They actually sold their home, and this is what they do. Be sure to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. When you guys do this, we at Humanastory will... You could very well win on our Fantastic Friday. Charlie, buddy,
yes,
pal, you were talking about living life as a carny, and that you have a good wife, and that you make money off of making your kids do all the work for you around the house, right?
Yeah. Child labor is the way to go.
No, I'm just playing. So, do you have any tips and tricks to RV? Oh, wow. Well, I just got a news ticker. Before I go any further, I guess Michigan there was a mass shooting in Michigan. Don't know what that's all about.
Oh my God.
I have this news ticker that just pops up, and that brings up a question before I get into anything else, any of the details. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, how do you handle theft and people doing bad things? I mean, is there any of that stuff going on, like crime? Is there any of that?
For us, we haven't ran into any security issues so far, and we get to know the owners of the RV parks that we stay in, and just make sure that we have a good relationship with if there's any other full timers in the park, just to make sure that we, if anything does happen, we're kind of all on the same page. But just like your house, you can't always avoid bad things, but you can definitely make sure that you try to be prepared for them.
Well, I guess it's really no different than actually being in your house, being in a house. I mean, you're going to have the same crime out there as you are going to be living in your own house. I mean, your own neighborhood, right? I mean, it's just the illusion of being safe is really
right.
What it
and
is.
It's much easier to case, like for a criminal to case your house, because it's never going to move, than it is for them to, case ours. And they're probably not looking to burgle our RV since the 1986 Class C RV.
So, what tips and tricks do you have for your for the listeners and the viewers? See, I'm not biased, unlike Charlie.
I think we lost him again.
Yeah, if we do this RV thing ever, we will want a good satellite connection, because living off the land means you're living off of the land's internet.
That's absolutely right.
Okay, so what tips and tricks do you got for us, bud?
So, I was saying, I don't know if anyone heard this. It's online resources and other resources for finding work while you're traveling. If you're younger RVers, Colleen's Workers on Wheels is one. There's Cool
Did you say? Wait. Did you say Colleen's Workers on Wheels? So you make your daughter go out and no.
No.
That's not
kidding.
it.
Oh, wait, what are you guys siding with him for?
Yeah.
This is what I deal with. They are not supposed to side with you. They are Humanastory. Just saying.
Thanks, guys. I really
the customer's
appreciate that,
always
though.
right.
He's not a customer. He's a guest. Oh, okay.
I don't know. My wife says I'm a pretty smooth customer, I think.
Okay. All right. So what do you got for us? Tips and tricks. You said that there's we didn't catch it. It sounded like you said Colleen, but I'm thinking you said something else.
That's absolutely right. It's Colleen's Workers on Wheels. They have a lot of things. There's Cool Works. There's just, if you look up jobs for full-time RVers, snowbirds.com. I think it's called snowbirdrvs.com.
They have snowbirds.com.
Yeah, it's something along those lines.
Wow.
Well, I think we lost him again.
Yeah, I'm still here, but it's definitely a very slow connection right now. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Okay. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
So
we can hear
I guess my the big tip would be to really research what you're doing before you try to do this lifestyle. But I mean, I think that anyone can benefit from this in a small amount. Just give it a try. Get out, step outside your box for a while. Get out of the ticky-tacky houses and go out and see the world. Experience new things. No matter what you do, experience new things and try something new.
And so, tell us a little bit about your website and some of the videos and all the wonderful things that you've got. We'd like to know. Let everybody know a little bit about your site.
Well, we have a website. It's MODIGAZZI, Madagazzi.com. And we have a YouTube channel. It's called Madagazzi Travels. I know it's a really strange word.
Yeah, how did you come up with it? How did you come up with it?
And, well, I ran a hot dog business in Cincinnati. That's the reason I was talking about hot dogs. And it was called Madagazi Hotter Dogs. And so we actually owned the business, owned the LLC. And so we just kind of wanted to carry that over, for liability, insurance, things like that. And so we just decided to call our website and everything Madagazi Travels. And so if you go to YouTube and look up MODIGAZZI, Madagazi Travels, you'll find we have a lot of videos covering various topics. They're usually fun, anything to do with full-time RVing. If you check it out, I think that you'll enjoy it. And if you go to Madagazi.com, we're also on Facebook at Madagazi Travels and Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Because in the future, we don't know if we're going to do something like as far as like maybe we're going to, start making things, or trying to sell products in the future or anything like that.
I think you should make a shirt.
To be able to own the business.
Because you might get a following of people, I think it would be real interesting.
Yeah, I would like to do that. I'd like to make a shirt or some stickers or, something. I haven't decided yet, but something to give to people, that they can kind of hopefully promote the lifestyle and, kind of get the word out there that there's a choice in our lives. We don't have to just, be in our house. We can go places and see things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd buy that shirt or sticker from you.
Yeah, so would I.
Okay, I got your order right now. So.
It's all right. You'll be getting a yellow shirt from. Yeah, you'll be getting a yellow shirt from us.
That's awesome.
Okay, so listen, I want you to stick around after the show, and we'll chat with you for a little bit. I wanted to ask you a few things off air, and anyway, so you guys are again. If you guys like, share, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff that you do with YouTube videos. And if you don't know what YouTube is yet, you're probably living in the Australian outback with the Aborigines. But yeah, if you guys like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Yeah, leave. Yeah, there's a whole thing behind that. God, don't even get me started. So, yeah, what you guys want to do is, like, share, subscribe, and make sure you guys comment to him, and we'll leave a contact link to get to us below whenever you guys make your video. Again, Mr. Madagazi.com, MODIGAZZI.com, because that's the easiest thing to say. Humanastory thanks you for listening and your activity within our community. We hope to grow a little each day with the lives of ordinary people doing extraordinary things in life-changing